Gamers, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Misplayers Podcast. You got me, Jimmy.
Naps over here.
Yeah. Just gonna be completely upfront, kind of a dry week. We're gonna talk about kind of whatever. We're just kind of winging it this time around because yeah.
It's been a little dry in terms of game news, and there's not really much that we can add our own spin
It's
to.
more like there's like nothing new. It's like it's just been weeks of just bad news about pricing and
Yeah.
like practice was like how many episodes in a row can you do where you're like, oh my god, this company is pricing this
Yeah.
way too expensive.
How many times can I say it's hard for us, bro?
Oh,
gamers.
it's hard for us gamers, bro. Oh, it's rough. It's rough times out here. The economy. Yeah. So not too much on that front. I guess I will mention really quickly, just at the start, that since the last time we talked about it, it's been revealed that like I think over half of Switch 2 games are game key cards, which I guess is kind of worth mentioning. Like I don't know, like I still feel the same as I did back then, which is I'm just upset about key cards, but
Yeah.
like I don't know what else really to add to that.
What else can we say that we haven't already talked about and that every other YouTuber hasn't talked about
Yeah,
already?
we can like go on a schizo rant about like, oh, they don't want you to own your shit.
You'll
you
own
know?
nothing and
Ye-
you'll live in a pod.
Yeah. It's just the game companies they don't care, so it is what it is. What have you been playing lately?
I've been playing, well, as you know, as it caused a big ruckus in our group chat, was
Yeah.
my experience with the Expedition 33.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it's not bad, but so I understand why everyone loves it so much, and I think it's great. But my issue is that I haven't been clicking with the game,
Yeah, it's a tough feeling.
and yeah, it's because I was really ready. We talked about this. Like I rushed
Yeah.
through Metaphor
Oh,
just so I
man.
could get into this game, and I
Time
was
to
ready.
dive in.
I was so ready to join the bandwagon, start glazing the game,
yeah.
and I'm still liking it, but I'm not liking it to the same level that you and our other friends have, and it's making me a little bummed out.
Yeah, for me, like honestly, it's weird because I had kind of like a opposite thing, I guess, when I hopped into the game where I was seeing like 9.5 out of 10 and stuff like that. I was seeing all these great reviews and I was like, bro, it's a Westoid game. There's no way that it's that good, but I'm gonna try it. And then I ended up like it's like my favorite game in so long. Like I'm still super blown away. So I had kind of an opposite experience where I had like lower expectations than what people set up for me.
The thing with me is that I can't even point to anything
Yeah.
that's turning me off from the game. I genuinely think it's just like not the right mindset to play right now. Maybe
Right.
I don't know, just not in the mood for that type of game.
Like a personal X factor type of thing. Where
Yeah.
like, oh, I'd like right time, right place. For
Yeah,
me
exactly. Just because I don't know, there's nothing I can find wrong with the game. Like there's some shirt, like I was telling you,
Yeah.
maybe the hitbox of like the overworld combat is a bit weird.
Like
but
nitpick type
yeah,
flaws.
but, like
Yeah.
that obviously doesn't affect my opinion of the game to
Yeah.
like a big scale. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I would expect with a game like that, especially how you guys were talking about it. It's like one of those games where when I'm not playing it, all I can think about is like, oh, I want to get back and play
That's
it some
how it
more.
was. Yeah.
But
for
I
me.
haven't been feeling that, and it's been bumming me out because I felt that way about Metaphor, the last game.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played, and
you
I
were,
was
like,
thinking, I was at
super
work
into
thinking
it.
about like, oh, I can't wait to play tonight
Get
after
back
work.
into that world.
Yeah, but it's been tough. I was just playing right before you came over as well, and like you saw, I'm enjoying it. I'm
Yeah,
like
it's so
engaging with the game, but yeah, it's a little sad.
It's just not hitting the way like I guess because for me like that game was hitting in a similar way like when we started Elden Ring. Where
Yeah.
it was just like, oh my goodness, like this is heaven. Like I love when games make me feel this way. And for me the thing is the reason I like it so much is because Elden Ring, there's a point in that game where I'm just like, okay, like I get it.
Long ass game, to be fair. I think
It
Expedition's
is.
what, like 60 hours?
Yeah, Well, I don't even think it's really 60. I guess if you really want to complete everything, maybe. But like doing the main stuff, I think took me like 40
40, okay.
ish.
Yeah, whereas Elden Ring, it was like 110, I think, on my first
Yeah.
run. And it was like around the 90-hour marker. I was like, okay, man.
That's a
this
good
is-
point. Yeah, that's
this is
true.
starting to get
We
old.
got to be fair. It's true that like it was more so around the 80, 90 hour mark that it's like,
Yeah.
okay, dude, like I'm just gonna finish this game
Yeah.
and just like be over with it. I had a similar experience with the DLC. When the Elden Ring DLC came out, I was playing through it. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! This is the best shit." And by like 80% of the DLC being done, I was like, "Okay, dude, like I get it."
Don't tell our audience, but I didn't finish the DLC.
Oh, dude, I mean, I'm gonna be real. I didn't do the final boss.
I mean, either.
Oh, did you play through it and just get to the final boss?
Yes, but then I realized I didn't go to that You know that area where you have to do like some of that stealth, like the
Yes,
woods.
yeah.
I realized I had that place left. I hadn't gone there, and then I was getting there, and I was just like, I was
Kind of
already
losing
tired of the
interest.
game anyway, or of the DLC anyway. So I was just like, I'll put it aside,
Yeah.
revisit it, and then I never did.
Elden Ring, honestly, my issue with it, like that DLC, it just came out at a like unfortunate time because after playing Lies of P, it
Mm.
kind of ruined Elden Ring for me in a lot of ways. Like, because the bosses are so annoying in Elden Ring. Like, a lot of the fights are not like that fun. The combat is kind of basic. So yeah, when I got like to the end of that DLC and I saw the way that final boss was, I was just like, dude, I really don't want to learn this.
Yeah,
I just don't care. I
those
don't care.
10 million swings. I'm like,
Uh,
yeah, no, I can't be bothered. I don't
I've
care
done
about
this
my
enough
gamer.
times
Yeah,
in this game,
exactly.
like
Played my fair share of Souls games. I've
yeah, but
climbed those mountains already.
I think I'd be more down if the combat was like more interesting in Elden Ring, but at a certain point it's just like it's such a basic system and it's just I already know what
Also, once you have your build, you're kind of just like set in a certain way to play.
yeah.
You could always change your build, but like most people will play through with their preferred build, and at that point, it's just like you're going through the emotions.
You're
You
kind of
gotta
doing
roll,
like the
and
same
you,
process every
yeah,
boss, right? Like it's kind of like the boss is different, but like what I'm going through is basically the same. And there was so many fights in Elden Ring that I was just like, I wasn't even happy when it was over. I was just like, okay, fucking finally this is
move
dealt with
on.
and move
Yeah.
on to the next one. Like there's some good fights in there, but yeah, compared to other Souls games, I feel like Elden Ring boss quality was way lower. I don't know why we're on an Elden Ring tangent. I don't know how I got here, but
Well, I did want to use a nice opportunity to segue into our topic today, but you mentioned Lies of P, which is one of the games on my backlog,
oh yeah.
which I had started and I played through a good chunk of it, but I was playing on like a trial of Xbox Game Pass, and then I went on a vacation and I came back and I got my Steam Deck, and I just never got back to the game.
Honestly, for Lies of P, I think you can just start over.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
that's why I haven't put it on my backlog profile on the website. I didn't put it as shelved. I just put it as unplayed because I'm gonna restart
Yeah.
it.
You just restart because that game, first of all, is very replayable. Like like I've already started it over a couple of times. Like it's just super fun to play through, and it's just such a masterpiece in my opinion. Like I think it's better than like FromSoft Souls games. Like in my opinion, it's the best Souls game. Period. But yeah, for the backlog, it's like. We were talking about this because just like it feels like it's kind of the it's kind of like the era of the backlog just with all obviously it kind of ties into just talking about all these nasty practices and just the pricing going like through the roof for games and shit. It's just like a lot of people I think are kind of looking at the like endless vast amount of games that they've wanted to play and haven't played, and it's just kind of like okay, might be time for me to dive into that. You
Yeah.
know,
Why buy a game for $130 on Switch when you can, get like a $10 indie game that's been sitting on your backlog, and then you can get through that and have a great time.
yeah. There's also like emulating like a masterpiece instead of playing like a $90 7 out of 10 that just came
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean, or an 8 out of 10. It's like I finally played Final Fantasy VII, the PS1 game this year, and this is a game that I've had on my like backlog forever. It's not that long. It's not as long as I thought. People talk about it like such a long game. It really not that bad.
How many hours do you remember?
Well, to be fair, the in-game hours are all messed up because I used, I was on emulator, so I used 2 times speed
Right.
pretty often.
Right.
One thing that's really fun about that game actually for emulation is like the combat is so piss easy that like you can 2 times speed, and even though it has the ATB,
Mhm.
the action
Yeah.
time, uh, you can easily just kind of mash X on like smaller fights, and you just turn off the 2 times speed on like bosses and like harder fights. So it lended itself pretty well to playing like a JRPG with emulation options and fast forward and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, no, that game was like magical. Definitely a 10 out of 10 game, and I'm super happy that I played through it. Like, I've been waiting years to. But I don't know what I was waiting for. I could have always played it. I started it a couple times, but yeah. So for me, that's more so what I want to do with my backlog. I kind of just want to tackle all these like masterpiece games that I've just kind of been hearing about and haven't played. Like I've never played through Silent Hill 2. And I'm a massive Silent Hill 2 fan.
It's always funny when this guy starts glazing Silent Hill 2 because he hasn't played it.
I have played it. I've just never played through it.
Oh,
I've
okay,
played like
okay.
hours of it, but
Okay.
but I've never finished the game. It's a thing. I don't like emulating that game, but also there's no like solid re-release of it. The problem is a lot of people don't know this. That PS2 has like analog buttons. Did you
Mhm.
know this?
Oh, like you can press the X button
The
like
face
halfway.
buttons are analog.
Really?
And
They're so
yeah,
like flat though.
I know, but they are. The strength
Okay.
that you press them, and that actually affects your moves in Silent Hill 2, which is like
Oh.
nuts, right? Like I don't think I can't even think of another game that uses that feature. I didn't even know that was a feature until I saw it in one of the hundreds of Silent Hill 2 videos that I
But
watched.
does it make a big difference
It
in the
affects your
game?
move set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm emulating PS2 and I'm playing that game, because my buttons are not analog, I'm kind of losing out on parts of the move set. To be fair, I think you can definitely get through it without
Yeah,
that.
that's
To
what I
be
meant.
like,
Like,
yeah,
does
yeah.
it make a big
I
difference
don't
at the
think it
end of
makes
the
a
day?
massive difference, but it makes me kind of like feel like I'm not getting
The full
the
experience.
yeah, so now I kind of want to be like, I don't know, I might just have to hook up the PS2 and I have an old hacked PS2, so I could
Oh yeah,
like
you can just
I'd
burn
have
the
to
game on a
burn.
CD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to find a disk drive though because I don't have that on my PC. But
Might have one somewhere lying
yeah,
around this
if
house.
yeah, if you do, maybe I'd have to set that up. I wouldn't hate that, but also then I'd have to fucking play. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
all these things I get. Then I need a CRT
Yeah.
and you know I think I might need to time travel actually to the early 2000s to play that game.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play the remake before I play the OG. Like that's something. For FF7, I did it after I played the two first parts of the remake, and I think it works pretty well because it's not it wasn't made as an actual replacement. Like spoilers, I guess if you haven't played the remakes, but they're kind of more like adding than actually. Like the word remake is kind of used to actually mean remaking the world, like
Yeah.
Sephiroth remaking the world.
Rebooting it almost.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really like the traditional sense of the word. Um, so because of that, it feels like it's not as bad to play it after. But for Silent Hill 2, I think it's meant to like kind of replace the original in a way, that style of remake. So I don't want to play it before playing the original. I feel like it's gonna taint my enjoyment of the original once I
Yeah.
finally
You
play
also
it.
wanted like a point of comparison
Yeah,
when playing the remake and seeing what they changed and whatnot. Definitely, I think I'm kind of I feel bad for our friends who played Resident Evil 4 remake
before,
only, and they never played the
yeah,
original.
and they can't now. Like you can't,
No, they're not gonna like it at all.
and
Well,
it's tough
one
because
friend did try and he didn't like the tank controls.
and
So
what's tough about it is like it's also just people are so used to like the homogenized like modern control scheme that
like
they
R1's always to shoot and
yeah
whatnot, or
I
R2.
was I was seeing an interesting video where it was kind of like it's like app design became the way games are designed where like
Mm,
you're just trying to do it in a unified way where anyone that interfaces with it kind of understands what they have to do, you know. So then you end up like with all the games kind of playing the same in a way. Like I love how the original RE4 feels. I've went back to it after playing remake. I still think it's super fun, perfectly designed around its own control scheme and everything. But I can understand too if you're like used to this homogenized control scheme, it's really hard to like get handed a controller, start a game, and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like this doesn't feel natural.
yeah, it spurs a pretty interesting conversation in game design about like convenience versus
Right.
kind of like a vision or something different, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at what point does making a game more convenient, easy to access, like how much does it detriment the actual game design itself and how fun the game is?
Yeah.
Um, I watched a really good video essay on kind of the trend in modern games about how like developers don't want to come off as stupid. And if I remember the video, I'll put the video in the description of the video
Yeah, yeah. I
of
think
this
that the thumbnail
podcast.
said like smart
Oh
games
yeah,
on
it's like
player.
the best games are simple or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of underrated channel. I think you would like him a lot, especially like it's not super flashy. It's
We'll
just
link it in
like,
the description.
yeah, we'll link
Yeah.
it in the description. But he makes a really good point about like, and it's kind of different from what you were talking about the controls. But a lot of games, to make it accessible to as many people as possible, they make it so there's no like there's never any like checkmate scenarios where you'll like
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
lose, and like they put a lot of games on rails, and I've been seeing a lot of discourse around Doom: The Dark Ages as well. People are kind of complaining that there's a lot of like hidden hand holding in the game. I didn't quite watch the videos. I just seen some thumbnails and some
Mm-hmm.
like people complaining, but it's interesting. At what cost does making a game like what's the cost of making a game more accessible? Is it worth making it less fun to the nerds like us, or is it
I
better?
mean, like it won't. I feel like also it won't necessarily always make it less fun. I think that is kind of also an artistic vision thing, right? Because
Hmm.
like, um, you know, like for example, Miyazaki doesn't really like stop himself from making a game that's really hard. I don't know really what we mean by a checkmate though. Like if you lose to a boss, that's not necessarily a checkmate, right? Like it's just like you lost that fight, but you respawn, you can go fight him again, and you can win. So like, are we saying in checkmate is like absolute failure? Like your run is over. Yeah, I need to start the game over. Because like that you could describe like a lot of older games like that, like Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
as like Sega Genesis games, or like you lost, you start the game over. You got like maybe is that more like a checkmate?
Yeah, well, the way he illustrates it in the video really well with a lot of fighting game scenarios,
Mm,
which there's definitely a lot of checkmate scenarios even in modern fighting games, like
yeah,
Street Fighter. You're in the corner, you gotta block this combo, but it's gonna do a special and chip damage and kill you.
yeah.
So I think he was talking about that in single player games. They were afraid, like where you've made the wrong decisions in your build, and now you're at a point where like this boss is unpassable, and like I get why that's not a thing anymore because I'd definitely be one of the like players who would complain about like, yo, what is this game design? I have to fucking restart all the hours I put in
Hmm.
just because I made some decision that I wasn't quite sure about early on in the game. But he just brings up a good conversation, or he brings up an interesting discussion about should developers be scared to show like put gamers in a situation where you made the wrong decision, you have to kind of go back and reconsider everything, um, in a bigger scale than I guess than just going back to the last checkpoint.
Right. Yeah, because that's why I was kind of asking because I guess in Dark Souls you could also say like if you have a respec item, Elden Ring has a respec, right? Like it has a bunch of items, larval tears, I think
Yeah,
they were called. Like I guess that's an example of where it's like a fail safe, where like any moment in the game, if your build is not up to snuff, you can just use a larval tier,
yeah,
go on Google, look up a broken build, and just become overpowered if you're like tired of trying to make your build work in the
yeah.
game. And to be fair, I did do that, like in Elden Ring. Like,
Same.
yeah, when I got to, but I mean, that also brings up a conversation of maybe just having better design in general, right? Because the reason that they had to put that in there is because they designed a boss like Melania, where it's just like if this was checkmate, like if your build was just ass by the time you get there and it's just like screw you, it would just be like I don't think anyone would be happy with that. Like the game is
Yeah,
so long, like it's not the same time invested as a run of Sonic 2.
that's the thing though, like, where he doesn't touch on in the video, and you said it perfectly. Is like the time investment of these newer AAA big
Yeah.
games. You can't blame the devs either for not like, and players definitely wouldn't like it. Getting 60 hours into a game and it's like go back to hour zero and restart.
Yeah.
Like that would be frustrating. But yeah, it's just besides that also just like games hand holding, just making things more accessible. This is what the Elder Scrolls fan base, like the more hardcore fan base, has been complaining about for decades. Is like each installment gets dumbed down more so that more people can play it.
Yeah. That's just a popular trend with games in general.
Yeah.
Like every series, even like series that were already accessible. Like I'll give an example that's really dumb, but Sonic.
Hmm.
Um Sonic, he when they gave him the like homing attack in Sonic Adventure, it was kind of like to loosely guide Sonic towards the enemy, but it wasn't like a hard set line. Now in a new Sonic game, you get like a homing like
Reticle.
reticle is going to go in a straight line to that enemy, and it's like it kind of automates the process. It
Hmm.
removes a lot of freedom and a lot of like a gameplay expression, and kind of replaces it with like ease of use and like consistency, which I do think is worse. Like I think the game is definitely worse because of that compared to the old one.
And I think that ties back to the point that you were talking about how game design is kind of following app design.
Right.
It's that ease of use that anyone can pick it up, your grandma can pick it up, and
Yeah.
obviously I'm hyperbolizing here, but yeah, it's just it's a strange trend to see in game design, and I'm very like conflicted on whether I think it's a bad or good thing, and I think it probably ends up being more nuanced than it's good
It's
and bad.
because I think it's because it depends on the game. Because it is a bad thing if we're talking about a game that already appealed to like a hardcore market. I
Yeah,
think like you can't really argue like if it's a Dark Souls, for example. I mean, it also depends on the level that you're doing it at, of course. But like if it's a Dark Souls, it's already appealing to people that are into that. So it's really weird to take that kind of formula and try to make it like just add all this weird ease of use for everyone. Although sometimes just having better feeling controls is just nice. I'd say like Dark Souls 3 feels nicer to control than Dark Souls 1. And I like playing that game more just because of that. So maybe, yeah, maybe you're right. Actually, it is a bit more nuanced than I think. Because I was just thinking like I wouldn't mind in like Tetris, for example. It's a very like anyone can play this. It's for everyone, every
Hmm.
like casual or hardcore. So here's all the quality of life stuff that we could possibly tack onto a game like Tetris.
That's exactly what I was going to touch on. Is that like at what point does quality of life become dumbing, quote unquote, dumbing things down?
Yeah.
Um, like there are like, it could easily be construed that way, where some mechanical changes where I think you were talking about Suikoden 2 or something. There's been a lot of quality of life, or there wasn't in the remake.
Oh, there was just okay. My issue with the quality, the Suikoden 2 remaster, it wasn't even really a quality of life thing. It was just okay. Basically, there's a lot of options that you would have emulating the game that you didn't have necessarily in the remaster.
Mm,
Like the remaster kind of, but I will say, yeah, you're kind of right because I kind of like it now. The game kind of forces you to use save points. You don't get to just press start and save whenever.
yeah.
The game kind of like go to the save point, save the game, which I didn't like at first, but I will say it has made me a lot more engaged with Suikoden to have to do that. Actually, kind of took me back in a way, like back when I was a kid playing on
Yeah.
consoles, and if the game had a save point,
I
yeah,
gotta get to the save point
yeah,
before I can turn it off. Yeah.
exactly. But it is annoying when I'm like in bed playing Suikoden 2 and I'm about to fall asleep and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get where's the
Yeah.
bro? I'm so tired, bro. But yeah, um, so no, you're right. Actually, even for that, my biggest issue with Suikoden 2 they fixed recently, by the way. So I'm pretty happy about
The
that.
speeding up.
The music was sped up when you would 2 times speed the battles,
Right.
and it was so frustrating. It made me so upset. I was just like, bro, why would you like at that point I could just emulate it and I would just deal with the sped up
Yeah.
music. Like I feel like the reason I'm buying this is because I want to be able to speed it up without getting the
Yeah.
music sped up to an extent. They fixed it finally. It's in the settings now, so pretty happy about
You
that.
think a lot of people complained about that?
I don't know. I mean, like maybe it's really hard to say. It feels like the kind of thing that's very much a nitpick, but also it's not like the kind of people that will play Suikoden 2 probably already like emulation and old games, a lot of them, so maybe they actually got that complaint quite a bit.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh yeah, because I'm just imagining like, why would they have fixed it if not for complaints?
It's also kind of an expectation, like a standard expectation, like the re-release of Final Fantasy 7 on Switch and all those. Like the reason you'll play that over emulated is because when you'll speed it up on that one, the music will stay the same speed. And FF7 OG has like one of
Oh,
the best soundtracks of, and maybe the best soundtrack of any game ever. It's like top three for sure. So yeah, like I don't know, you kind of expected that re-release of FF7 is like I don't even know, like maybe 6, 7 years old, like so yeah, I think that's more so that people that play these games already kind of expect it, so it's kind of weird. But I'm glad they fixed it. I'm super happy they fixed it. That kind of I was enjoying the game anyway, but now it was really a nice surprise after finishing Expedition to go back to Suikoden and just seeing like, oh shit.
yeah.
um,
To steer the conversation back into kind of the backlog
yeah,
conversation and what we're playing, I did want to also touch on another game I just picked up.
sure.
It's like a small indie game that I got recommended to me by, well, not personally recommended, but I saw on Rasputin. He's a gamer, YouTuber, essayist guy. He made his latest indie games to recommend
Try
video.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this game called Prodigal. It's pretty cool. I'm liking it a lot so far.
Oh, is that the like Zelda looking
Yeah, so
game?
it's pretty Zelda style, like classic 2D Zelda style. A lot of like Link's Awakening type vibes in the game, and then there's a little bit of. I saw someone in like the Steam reviews describe it was Zelda plus Stardew. They only mean the Stardew as in like you're kind of building like relationships with the people in the
Oh,
town.
so really it's a social aspect.
Yeah, the
And
social
yeah,
aspect of it. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like you're doing farming and all that stuff.
That's funny that they
Um,
associate the social sim aspect with Stardew because that's in so many
Yeah.
games actually. Like I feel like if you say like Stardew, usually you mean farming, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, they meant like there's like a small town of like I guess
Right.
the social aspect in the small town. But yeah, I've been liking it a lot, and I'm surprised. I've been liking the soundtrack a lot. Definitely gonna get one of you guys to try it since I got on the Steam family at some
I'll
point.
probably try it.
It'll be
Yeah.
a fun little handheld game for your INEO.
Ooh, you're right. I might
Yeah,
just throw that on the Ioneo.
I've been playing it in Steam Deck in bed. It's nice.
Yeah, I'll have to
Um,
try that. Prodigal.
Prodigal, yeah.
I'm
I
trying
got it
to
with
try
some
soon.
bundle with some other game from the publisher or dev or whoever.
That's not backlog though. That's like a new. You
That
just
is a
heard of
new,
it.
but I guess it just goes back into the conversation of like
Yeah, yeah.
playing smaller things that are kind of recommended. But I did want to kind of touch on some of the things on my backlog. I'll let you start the conversation while I open up my
Oh, you're
backlog
going on
profile.
Backlogged? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll
Well,
just
actually,
mention.
let's give our backlog accounts a quick shout out if
Oh,
anyone wants to.
yeah. I'm just gonna mention what Backlogged is because I think
Yeah, yeah, you
like
should.
vast majority of people don't even know what it is. There's like a website. I think it's like IMDb, right?
It's like
Oh,
Letterboxd,
Letterbox. That's what it
but
is.
for
Yeah,
games
yeah.
essentially.
It's really cool. I started one. I haven't put much into it yet, but you can do like game reviews in it. You can put games on your backlog, basically, which is like games you want to play in the future, games you started but have shelved. There's just all these nice little categories on the website, and it's really fun to use. So definitely, we'll leave the links to both of our backlogs. Actually, mine is also linked in the channel bio, so I could link yours in the channel bio
Yeah.
under there as well. But yeah, it's a nice little website. It's fun to use for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big Letterboxd fan. I was not to be a hipster, but I was one of the early users on Letterboxd back in
Wow.
like 2017, 18 or something.
Wait, is that
So
early? I thought it was older than that.
it is older, but like I feel like it really got pretty mainstream around like 2020, like
Yeah, around
when
the
I
time you
started.
heard about it, it got mainstream.
No, 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 no. Around a couple years after I heard about it, it became
Oh,
mainstream.
okay. Okay.
No, no, no. But like to be fair, yeah, I'm not like that much of an early adopter. But when I started using Letterbox, like no one had heard of it in my vicinity. And a couple years later, I have a lot of people are using it and putting their reviews up and whatnot.
Hmm.
Anyways, Backlogged is awesome because it does the same thing. Although I wish you can make your own like custom lists in Backlogged, like in Letterboxd. But what I liked in Letterboxd is that it's often highlighting on your feed like other people's lists,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't quite do in Backlogged. But Backlogged's still under development. They're
Yeah, and
working on it.
so far I feel like they've still done like really good work.
Yeah, yeah,
And also I feel like the community must be pretty active because when I first made my account, I was already getting people kind of interacting with my
yeah,
reviews and stuff, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn, I just made my account, so it kind of reminds me a bit of the feeling of like old forums in a way. Even though it's not a forum, it just
yeah.
has a similar vibe. You make a review, someone agrees with your review, they'll like it, you'll go like them back. It's like a cute little social media,
Yeah.
like a little bit of a meverse vibe to it.
Even some couple of YouTubers gaming YouTuber essays they've been using Backlogged, like Rasputin, who I just mentioned. I started following him after that video on Backlogged because he mentions it.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely check out Backlogged, guys. Give us a follow. See what we're playing. See what we like, what we don't like.
I'll have to actually start using it more now.
Yeah.
But I like the website. When I had like a solid week of like just being really into it.
Yeah, I
And
was
then
like super tismal, like going through the whole
Yeah,
catalog games and seeing
me
which ones I
too.
played and marking it as played.
It's actually addicting
Um,
as fuck going through that list of games. It's really well done, actually. Like the
yeah.
list, it works super smooth. It just kind of it reminds you all the games you've played. It's a bunch of memories.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god, I forgot I played that. Oh, that game.
And
Oh,
then I was like having a moral quandary, like, oh, this was a 4 out of 5. But I was like, oh, I was a little kid when I played this. Is that actually a 4 out of 5? And
right.
like, um, only thing I'm waiting on, the main thing I'm waiting on from them is a mobile app, because
Oh, they
they
don't
can
have an app.
only, yeah, it's on their like milestones list or whatever,
Hmm.
a roadmap. Um, but yeah, I hate using this on the phone browser. I wish there was an app.
Oh, that would actually, yeah. And plus, like their system already feels like it should be an app because it's
Yeah.
so like smooth and
Mm-hmm.
there's just everything feels good to use. So yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, we should make it an app that's easy to use for everyone with just a bunch of ease of use features and quality of
Where
life
R1 is to
improvements.
hit. Oh, yeah, I actually wanted to touch on this real quick, just to have a little ADHD moment and jump back to our
Yeah,
last
it's whatever. It's a
conversation. But
conversation.
the point you made about how controls are homogenizing like per genre, kind of.
Yeah.
It's really funny how that also evolves at the same time, because like for the longest time, third person action games with like swords was always like square to hit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Souls came around and made it R1, and now like almost every game is like R1,
Well,
except for like some, like there's like Stellar Blade, I think.
no,
that
no,
was-
I think that really does depend, but it's just like no one used to use shoulder button in
Yeah.
those 3D action games, and now some games do it. Because like Stellar Blade uses face buttons.
Yeah.
Berserker Kazan is a Souls like, and he uses face buttons,
Oh,
which
okay.
was kind of jarring to me
Mhm.
at first. I was like, oh, whoa, okay, face buttons. So it's more so that it opened up that kind of like possibility, I guess, for a lot of people. but yeah, I think a lot though about more so like third person shooters, especially are like the most like these games are homogenized. Not just
Yeah.
shooters, but like just
During the Xbox era, when the cover systems and stuff, and the post Gears of War,
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff really got like,
And even now, like that's still remnants from then. Like
yeah,
you play Last of Us, and then you're good at Silent Hill 2,
yeah,
and you're really good at Resident Evil 4, and
yeah,
you're great at Metal Gear Solid 5. Well, Metal Gear Solid 5 has a lot of control. Maybe that one not really as fair to put in that list, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah.
But yeah, I'll jump into some of the games on my backlog.
Yeah, just
That
like give me like the hard hitters, the one you really want, like to
all
play.
right. Well, Chrono Trigger's on there,
Damn.
and coming from our last video, the JRPG list
Yeah.
reaction, Chrono Trigger being number one, and we both agreed on that, even though I haven't played it.
Well, I still think FF7 is number one, but I agreed that it's a valid.
It's a
take.
valid
Yeah.
place to have it, and yeah, that's definitely on there. But speaking of FF7, FF7 is right like next to it. Well, not quite next to it on my list, but
The OG.
the OG's on
Oh,
there. Well,
nice.
because I've been playing. I played through Remake and Rebirth.
Yeah, dude, I think it's really nice to play it after Rebirth. I think it's gonna be nice because then you're like preparing for part 3. Part 3 is gonna be this big catharsis. So I feel like you don't want to play the OG after part 3. I think you want to keep part 3 as like the dessert.
Yeah.
So I really recommend playing through it.
Some other hard hitters that we already mentioned. Liza P. I started it. Need to restart it. I got Persona 5 on there because I loved Metaphor. And I just
Yeah.
want kind of more of that, and the game's so stylish and cool looking.
I still think you should try SMT because like you're gonna get the best press turn system, bro.
SMT is still on my list. I don't have it on the website here. It's definitely on my list, but like I said, I'm gonna wait till it's on sale on Steam because that shit is way too expensive. It's $80. And
Yeah, that is
plus
too
Persona
expensive.
5 is already my
No,
brother
like
bought it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you. By the way, you should try Persona 5 too. I mean, dude, it's basically a classic. Like, I mean, everyone agrees that it's amazing. I just don't like it as much as other people, but I still think you should give it a spin. You might love it.
Yeah, and I've been mentioning a lot of JRPGs, and we've been just talking about JRPGs on the channel and on the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to my real love, which I rediscovered when
Western
I got the Steam
RPG?
Deck. No, hell no. I'm talking about platformers, 3D platformers.
Oh, dude, I want to play this.
Penny's Big Breakaway is on my list. The
We
other
should
night,
split on it for Steam Family, bro.
the other night, when I was about to buy Prodigal, I saw this. It was on sale. It's on sale right now. If you're
How
down to split
much?
on it, I think it's $20 right now.
Yo, I'm down to split.
I'd
I've been
be
wanting to
down.
play. Dude, I played the demo. It's so good.
I was about to buy it that night, but then I saw some things mentioning how it's a little glitchy on Steam Deck, so I held
on
off.
deck.
Yeah.
Oh,
But if
okay.
I'm paying half with you, I'd be down.
Yeah, I'd probably be down. Dude, I've been wanting to play this. It's made by the dude who made Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
And like he's just a genius. Like he's amazing. So I've been wanting to. Dude, did you try the demo?
No, I didn't.
If you
I was
try
just
the-
like, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play it fully.
This is some fucking sick movements. Like I know, like Pseudo Regalia, like probably is my favorite 3D movement. This might be
Likewise.
second favorite.
Yeah.
Like it's got because the way it uses momentum is just so cool. Penny's Big Breakaway, man. Like I really want to play this. Yeah.
All right.
We'll do
That's
it.
that's
Yeah,
settled. We'll
do-
split on it. We'll
do
buy
that.
it. I'll buy it tonight. Then you can start playing it. I'll finish Prodigal, and then I
Sure.
can play it after.
Yeah, sounds
Um,
good.
Sweet. Well, we just made some business deals on the podcast. You guys, have you
Yeah, we're
read
doing-
Donald Trump's Art of the Deal?
We're doing trades
Yeah.
on the podcast. Yeah, no, I really want to play that game. That game looks it is good. I mean, I played the demo. It's fire. As for me, for my backlog, I mean, I'm kind of tackling my backlog right now. You guys got me the Suikoden remaster around my birthday, and I've been slowly playing through it, very slowly, just enjoying it at night, And that's also been on my backlog forever. So I've really been enjoying playing Suikoden. I played through all of 1, absolutely loved it. Now I'm playing through 2, slowly but surely every now and then. It feels a lot more like the way I would play a game back in the day, just because,
Damn, bro. I just opened your profile on backlog.com and I don't see any games on the backlog list.
I mostly did reviews on my backlog. I mostly used backlog to talk about the games I did try.
I tried to give him a helping hand, have his list open right in front, and he disappointed
I
me.
appreciate it. But yeah, my backlog, I mean, to be fair, also like I use like emulation handhelds, so I can like I see my backlog every day because
Yeah.
like a lot of my backlog for me is more so
Retro.
retro games that I've heard good things about and never really gave a shot, or things that I've started and haven't finished. Does that count as backlog?
Um,
No.
I'll count it. Well, I'm putting Liza P, which is that for me.
There's a lot of games that I've like started and want to get back to. Like I've played a solid chunk of SMT3 Nocturne. I think I'm like at the end portion and then I stopped playing it. SMT3 Nocturne is definitely a game I really, really want to finish. I don't know how soon I'm gonna finish it. I did a solid chunk because I was playing on PS5, and then I got on my whole like handheld like journey, just playing retro handhelds. I just didn't want to start the game over because it's a pretty long game. So
I'm
like,
not gonna lie. After our last video on the JRPG list and you glazing the shit out of SMT3, I was kind of considering it too. I'm like, I think that's going on the backlog for me as
yeah,
well.
you probably should, dude. Like, if you ever want to just get seeped in that like early 2000s edge, but with like a really good game, that would be the one that I would recommend. The one thing that might make you not want to play it is it has random encounters.
Mhm.
And a lot of people they don't like going back to JRPGs with random encounters. Personally, I think it's designed with random encounters in mind, and I think it works really, really well. You also unlock moves pretty early into the game that let you turn off random encounters like for a period of time using
I played
MP.
something not too long ago with random encounters, and
Does Octopath have them?
I think Octopath, yeah, Octopath has
Oh,
them.
really?
Yeah, yeah. I think that was it. I'm trying to
Damn,
think of another game I played that might have had them, but I
I
think it
didn't
was
know.
Octopath. Did I play any other JRPGs I told you about? I think Dragon Quest. No, Dragon Quest
Did
doesn't.
Bloomtown have random encounters?
Bloomtown did not.
Dragon Quest doesn't. No,
No,
Dragon
it
Quest
doesn't.
11. You hit. Yeah, you bump into the enemies.
Yeah. I played something else, but I remember being like thrown out. I think maybe it was Octopath. I was talking to my brother. I was like, "Damn, there's like freaking random encounters in this game." And he's like, "Well, you're just gonna have to get used to that, won't you, buddy?" And I was just like, "Yeah,
That makes
you're
me want to
right."
play it more. I didn't know that it had random encounters. I think random encounters are kind of like.
A dying art.
I think people kind of underestimate how good they can be for game design. Like, I think they help a lot for dungeon design and JRPGs and things like that because it becomes like the resource game becomes a lot more interesting when you
Hmm.
have like random encounters. Like, that's my biggest issue, really, when you compare SMT3 to SMT5 Vengeance. I love both games. I think SMT5 is more fun, but SMT3 is better. And a lot of it is just like it's not really a war of attrition when you can walk around the enemies like or like try to like walk around them or jump above them or whatever in SMT5, whereas like in Nocturne it's like if we're doing random encounters, we're doing random encounters, buddy. You're just gonna have to fight these guys, and it makes the dungeon a lot more tense. It adds to like the dreariness of the atmosphere, I
In a
think.
dungeon, it makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah.
Uh, just because like you're already scared in a dungeon, like, oh, I need to get out of here and get through. And
Yeah, there's like safe areas in the game. It's not like every single
oh
part of the
yeah,
game.
I know that, but like I'm not sure if I'm a fan of like overworld random encounters when you're like trying to just like get from point A to point B, and then also there's a conversation of like the rate, like the
I think
different
that's a
games
big
do it.
part of it.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's a big part of why I don't mind it in Nocturne is because I find the rates pretty good. Like, I think even when you're in the overworld, like going from one area to the other, it's like you're not doing that many fights. And also, fights in SMT are fast. You either die super quick or you win super quick
mm.
because of how snowbally the press turn system is. So that's another part of it. They're way like honestly, like once you make your team really busted in SMT3, you kind of just like you can just fast forward the battle and let it play itself in like 2 seconds.
That's why I do think like Metaphor has handled it the best I've ever seen in a game yet. I don't know if other games have this system, but like it's not random encounters, but like that system of where you're just above the level of the enemy, so you can just hit them in the overworld and you get the XP and everything.
Oh yeah, that's in Persona as well.
Is it? Oh,
I don't know if they have. I
my
don't.
brother was telling me it's not in P5.
It is. It is in the. I forget the name. There's like a dungeon. There's like a generated dungeon thing that's like automatically generated
Okay.
called mementos, I think. And in that area, yeah, if you swing at enemies that are way below your level, you just kill them, or if you bump into them with your truck or
Okay.
something like that. There's something like that in S75. What's another game that I feel like there's other games that do that that I'm
I haven't
forgetting
seen
about.
that in. Well, I haven't played that many turn-based RPGs yet, but so far, like I think Metaphor is the only game I've played with that, and like I really like it.
And Metaphor
Uh,
is so
in
well
Mother
done.
3, actually, once you're like a certain level above the enemies, when you're
Yeah,
sprinting, you'll just bump them aside, and
Earthbound as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is good. But I like in Metaphor that you still get the loot. You get the
yeah, you get
gold, you
it.
get
You
the
get
EXP,
everything
so you can like grind really easy when you need
with
to.
like little chumps, you know. No,
Yeah,
I agree actually, and I think Metaphor probably did it best of like those like JRPGs with that kind of system. In Metaphor, they just kind of turn it into like
a hack and
yeah,
slash.
hack and slash for those little chump enemies.
Yeah,
It's really
which is
clever.
yeah, it's super clever. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I want to see more of that in JRPGs going forward.
you're gonna need a Metaphor sequel or
Yeah.
something. Which
Well, I
Metaphor,
mean, I can see them doing that like in the next Final Fantasies, or if they decide to go back to
dude.
RPG formulas and not stay as a beat 'em up.
Let's not even talk. Wait, no, actually, let's talk about Final Fantasy, bro. Next Final Fantasy is such a funny thing to think about. After Expedition, I know you're like, even if you're not like, oh my
But
god,
like
this is the best game ever, but like for real, you gotta admit,
the combat and like the RPG systems are
dude,
awesome in that
it
game.
puts the
Yeah.
pressure on Square. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
after the fucking blunder of Final Fantasy 16, them saying it didn't meet sales expectation, Expedition selling really well. If you're Square, you're feeling fucking stupid right now. Like
Yeah.
you've been saying, like trying to avoid being a turn-based RPG.
To be fair, they had that same issue with 7 Rebirth as well.
What do you mean?
They said that the numbers are lower than what they expected.
Yeah, well, I think that's more so a result of just being PS5 exclusive. But
Uh,
what I'm talking more so about is just kind of like their insistence that like they have to kind of move away from turn-based, that
mm,
players don't want it anymore in a world where Pokemon has been the most popular game franchise for like
yeah,
20 years,
true.
by the way. Um, and I think it's really nice to see them proven wrong. I really wonder actually how hard they're going to pivot, because I feel like they are going to pivot back to turn-based after 16.
Surely they have to.
They have to. It's 17, bro. It's the next Final Fantasy 7 with 7 in the title. uh I said Final Fantasy. You get what I'm
I
saying.
get
Okay.
what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like they feel like a big pressure with that number. I think that number scares Square Enix in a way. They're just kind of like, oh my god.
It's like their 3. That what 3 is for Valve.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're like, oh my god, we're back at 7. What do we do for this 7? How do we? We can't. How? Maybe they just like keep making. Oh, what's up?
My laundry thing went off, so
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
gonna
okay,
pause
yeah.
it
We'll
real
pause
quick.
the recording.
Yeah, so we're back, but you were talking about Final Fantasy 7.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, Square Enix probably feeling the pressure, looking at Expedition, looking at Final Fantasy 17. Now, probably the next one. I don't know how long that's going to take. It might take like, dude, the time games are taking now. I wonder if like we don't see it for another like 8 years or
Do you
something.
think it comes out before part 3 of
No,
remake?
no way. I think part three of
Because
remake.
16 did come out before Rebirth.
Yeah, but 15. Wait, 15 came out before remake. Then you got remake. Then you got 16. Then you got rebirth. But that's just the way that it lined up, right? Because I'm pretty
Wait.
sure they said like you'd expect a 3 to 4 year waits between parts. For FF7, I really don't think
Because it's
like
possible they were already working on 17.
while 16 just came out.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, they must have like a lot of teams that can like start building like the bones of the next game.
I wonder, because 15 took forever. Like it took forever to make 15.
That was
14,
like dev hell, right?
yeah, basically. It was supposed at first I think it was supposed to be like a spin-off of 13, and then it became something else and became something else until we ended up with 15, which is a pretty polarizing game in its own right. Like it has a lot of things people love and hate about it. But before that was the MMO, which the MMO's also been around forever now.
Yeah.
FF14.
Shout out to our boy Rafi, who's a
Yeah,
big
biggest.
online or whatever it's called 14 fan.
Yeah, FF14. Yeah, massive FF14 fan. I don't get it. I can't get into MMOs. I
Me
don't think
neither,
I ever
bro.
will get into MMOs. I think I played a total of 10 hours of RuneScape because I was a kid in the early 2000s, and
Yeah.
that's about it. That's I no, that's not true. I also played like the fake MMOs like Adventure Quest.
What about Maple Story? You ever have a Maple Story phase?
Not a phase. Like I played a
No.
little bit of it. I wanted to have a Maple Story phase, but I was kind of confused
Uh,
when I played Maple
Yeah,
Story.
to be honest, I was like asking my brother what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And like the thing with MMOs in the early game, so many like fetch quests.
Dude, they're
Go
just
get me 20 wolf tails or something like that. You know, like oh my
bro,
god.
the games suck. Like this just bro, the games are just bad. I might play an MMO if they make a good one. You know what I mean? Like if you make an MMO that's a good game, I might try it. There's always this idea of like, oh, what if they had like a Souls like MMO? It's like, yeah, I'd probably play that. That sounds pretty cool.
But they'd MMOify it, and like you wouldn't like it in the end. They'd add
Yeah.
all that like MMO bullshit to it,
Yeah,
and
you're
then you'd be
right.
like, yeah, this is not fun.
I'd rather play VR chat than play an MMO, dude. Like straight up.
Yeah, you know what I've been watching a lot lately?
What?
Those YouTubers who like go into like super tismo like VR
Dude,
chat
I love
servers.
that genre. That's such a good
And then
genre of
it's
YouTube.
so
I
good.
want to do that. We should try that. I wonder if we're probably not as funny as the other
No,
guys that
but-
do it, but I'd love to try it.
Bro,
The
it's
other-
not even their personalities that carry the videos.
You're right.
It's the VR chat users.
it's kind of like Channel 5, but online.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
kind of going to the weirdest places with the weirdest people and just kind of letting them do their thing.
I've been just getting all of them on my Instagram reels and been sending them to our friends, and
Yeah, dude.
they're so funny, man.
Yeah,
I
no.
just got like I watch that shit and I'm like, there's no way there's people like this who like take this shit that seriously.
Bro.
Have you seen the one with like the leash where he's like leashing people on the server?
Yes, bro.
And they're like raging at him. They throw him in the jail and stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Man.
But dude, it's like it's kind of beautiful that there is that on the internet, that you
Yeah.
can find those people that
Yeah.
have dedicated a lot of their lives to this. Like,
To be honest, I think we grew up with some people around our area who would fit that bill.
yeah, you think?
Certain someone who went to some of our Smash tournaments back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not, let's not dive into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't know how we got on this VR. How do we get on the VR
Oh,
chat?
you said you'd rather play
Oh,
VR chat than
MMOs.
MMOs.
Okay, yeah, because we were talking shit about MMOs. No offense to MMO players, by the way. Like, I get it. Like, I think like the online.
To some degree, I get it as well. Like, especially like the community aspect.
Yeah.
If you're in a guild and you're doing guild raids
Yeah,
together.
yeah, I get the social aspect of it.
But the
like,
early games, which is like I never get too far past early game because the early games and like every MMO I've played are so fucking slow. What
it's
a
not even-
drag, man!
dude. It's not even just the early game. The games are not like they're this. You need the social aspect probably because the games themselves, gameplay wise, there's just nothing like.
It's so weird too because MMOs came from like trying to translate RPG games to
Yeah,
to a
well, I mean,
multiplayer
they
settings.
succeeded at that. Like, I mean, if you want to have like a big, essentially like a D&D session, but with like 1,000 players, and you play World of Warcraft to kind of get that experience, like, yeah, you're kind of getting that. But I don't know. It's like for me, I guess I care too much about gameplay to really
Yeah.
enjoy that aspect of it as much. Like, if I had a MMO that felt like Mario Sunshine to play, I'd probably be all over it. I'd
Yeah.
be like, yo, look at I'm doing tricks.
the Bomb Rush Cyberpunk
True.
online mode.
I guess that's my
Yeah.
MMO. My MMO would be modded Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That could work for me. That should I gotta try that. I really want to try the online actually on Bomb Rush.
If you guys have not tried that game yet, please try it. It was one of my favorite gaming experiences of the last year, because I played it last year. But
Yeah.
super awesome game.
Yeah, Team Reptile, they're geniuses. Lethal League is fire. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is even more fire. Jet Set Radio is dead, but it's not really dead because we have Bomb Rush. I fucking love the game. It was a dream come true for me. Like when I played that game, like I just it was better than I expected, and the mods made it like something else entirely. Like now
And
it's just like
Like I remember when it came out, you were super hyped, and I didn't really care.
yeah,
And then I finally played it like a year later, and
it's a couple of mods, right?
yeah. And then like
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't believe I slept on this. But it was the perfect time to play because it's right when I got my Steam Deck.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was just looking for games to play, and you're like, oh, that might be good on Steam Deck. Whew, what an experience that was.
Yeah, really special game. Really, really cool game. You feel like we've kind of like been around pretty much all the topics we could really get into today. Did you want to talk about something for longer, like one of the topics? Because like we're just like I said, we're kind of winging it today, right?
Yeah, we're
Like,
just yapping about games, but like that is the spirit of this podcast. That's how we
kind of
started
the point.
it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
yap about games anyways.
There's a reason. Yeah, that is the reason we did it because we always do this anyway. So it's just kind of like, oh fuck it, we'll throw it on the internet. We'll just kind of throw our conversations on there. But
It was funny. Well, I'll just mention quickly,
Yeah.
our buddy from like a different city came to visit this weekend, and he might want to like join on an episode because he
Yeah.
has a lot of good like takes and opinions when it comes to games. And he was asking us like, do we script this? Do we just go off the cuff? And we're like, no, we can go off the cuff. And then Jimmy and him just started talking about games, and they got into like this deep conversation. And he's like, see, bro, you don't need notes. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
this
It's
comes
just-
naturally to you.
Yeah,
And I think that's our friend group in general. Like, we just
yeah,
we're
for
turbo
sure.
autist, but super passionate about games. And just
Yeah,
can
we
blab
love
about
getting
them.
into the nitty gritty of games. We love like it's like we don't just talk about, oh, this game was better than this game. It's like we're like, well, I really wonder what like how this style of game design might reflect upon the developer. And
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
some bullshit like that. But yeah, I love talking about games like that. I take them super seriously, obviously, because if you're like, if you're gonna devote so much of your time to playing this shit, of course you gotta get something from it other than just like dopamine, right? Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's not that much else to talk about this
Not
time
much
around.
else to talk about.
Don't worry, soon we'll have pretty good content. I think we have Summer Games Fest in a couple of weeks. Switch 2 is releasing in like 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be shit to
I
talk
think
about.
next week we'll probably do the predictions, right? Next week or the week after.
Either next week or the week after, we can do a nice predictions video for Summer Games Fest. And
Depending on our schedules, we might try to stream live reactions to it.
yeah, if we can land
If not, we'll do a post stream podcast or something.
one way or the other, we'll probably do a post, a video after just talking about Summer Games Fest. I mean, I'm hoping that it's a really cringy thing and that we can make like a crowd cat style, just
Yeah.
like bunch of funny clips and just talk about how cringe it was while also talking about the news. That would be super fun to do if we can pull it off. But we'll see when it comes. Jeff, he's been pretty good at keeping his shows a little less cringy, I'd say, lately.
I think all the game, like, that's one of the saddest things about E3 dying
Yeah.
is that you don't get like eccentric, nerdy game engineers going up on a stage in front of like 10,000 people and like
True.
spurging out
And just having like the most epic
Yeah.
moments, bro.
Now it's all like pre-recorded and like they get like their PR team or like
Oh, you still
The-
get some blunders, bro.
you get them,
You
but like
remember the God of War voice
yeah,
actor?
well that was the game awards.
yeah,
like-
that shit was funny.
But
as
like
fuck.
all the game like announcement shows now
Yeah.
are like mostly pre-recorded,
You're right.
which like takes away from that fun aspect of it. But
yeah, it is what it is. I guess they got just one too many cringe compilations, and they were like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm done. We're done. We're done with doing this shit. We don't want to be in the cringe compilations anymore. The devs were like, dude, fucking go find someone to talk, bro. I don't
Yeah.
want to go. I don't want to go. This is not my job.
Well,
All right, so that's it.
yeah, that's it.
Cool. See you
All
guys.
right. Hope you enjoyed.
Peace.
Peace.